The roar of the stadium was a physical force, a wave of sound crashing against the concrete walls and rebounding into the night sky. 90,000 voices, exhaling in unison, created a pressure vibrating in Petya's chest. Below, on the emerald field, 22 figures danced in a ballet of athleticism and strategy. But Petya's gaze was fixed upwards. High above, against flickering stadium lights and the inky blackness beyond, a small, dark shape clung precariously to a banner. It was a cat. Not just any cat, but a creature in a desperate struggle for survival. Its tiny claws digging into the taut fabric of a massive advertisement hanging suspended from the stadium's upper tier. The banner swayed slightly in the night breeze, a constant reminder of the dizzying drop below. Each gust threatened to dislodge the feline, sending it plummeting into the sea of faces below. The crowd, sensing the drama unfolding above, shifted its attention from the game to the desperate creature. A hush fell over the stadium, broken only by the cat's frantic meows and occasional gasps from onlookers. The Jumbotron, usually reserved for close-ups of players and replays of key moments, now displayed a close-up of the terrified cat, its eyes wide with fear, its body trembling with exertion. The game, once the center of attention, became a mere backdrop to this unexpected drama. The players, sensing the shift in focus, craned their necks to see what had captured everyone's attention. The referee, after a moment of bewildered observation, blew his whistle, halting the game. All eyes were on the cat. Petya hadn't planned on becoming a hero. He'd simply wanted to share a special moment with his family, a football match in his hometown, a chance to cheer on his beloved team. The initial plan was simple: tickets for himself and his wife. But then came his father's hopeful suggestion, followed by his sister's insistent demand, and finally the quiet plea in his younger brother's melancholic eyes. Each request, though well-intentioned, added complexity to the outing. The final straw, however, came not from his siblings or father, but from his mother. During a tense family dinner, a silence heavy with unspoken resentment hung in the air. Then the clatter of her fork against the plate shattered the quiet, followed by an outburst of hurt and frustration. She felt excluded, overlooked, a mere afterthought in her family's plans. The accusation, though not directed at anyone in particular, struck Petya with the force of a physical blow. He felt a pang of guilt, a deep sense of responsibility for his mother's unhappiness. The result? 6 tickets instead of the initial 2. Determined to make the best of the situation, Petya dipped into his savings, sacrificing the prime seats he had originally envisioned for more affordable options in the upper tier. It was a compromise, but he hoped the shared experience would outweigh the less-than-ideal view. The day of the match arrived, filled with the usual pre-game excitement and anticipation. However, the stadium experience quickly devolved into a series of minor annoyances. Petya's father, convinced of his own navigational prowess, led the family on a circuitous route through the stadium, ignoring all directional signs. Then, there were the noisy snack wrappers and a boisterous group in front of them, sharing a heavily spiked cola, their conversation laced with threats of post-game brawls. Petya gritted his teeth, trying to maintain a positive attitude, but a sense of unease settled in his stomach. Then he saw it, the dark shape moving in the narrow gap between the banner and the stadium wall. At first he thought it was just a shadow, a trick of the light. But as the shape descended, becoming more distinct, he realized with alarm what it was. A cat, trapped and terrified, was about to fall. The cat's descent was swift and terrifying. It clawed desperately at the smooth surface of the banner, its meows echoing through the stadium, a desperate plea for help. Petya, reacting instinctively, alerted his family and the surrounding spectators, pointing upwards at the impending disaster. The crowd's attention shifted, the collective gasp of realization rippling through the stands. The cat, losing its grip, tumbled downwards, executing a desperate somersault in midair. The crowd held its breath, anticipating the worst. But in a display of incredible agility, the cat twisted its body and latched onto the very edge of the banner with one claw. It hung there precariously, its other paw flailing in the air, its meows growing louder, more frantic. The scene was now playing out on the Jumbotron, capturing the attention of the entire stadium. The players, the referee, the security personnel, everyone was watching the cat's desperate struggle. the game was completely forgotten. A spectator in the front row suggested using a piece of cloth to create a makeshift safety net. A jacket was quickly offered, and Petya, along with 2 other volunteers, stretched it out beneath the cat. But the terrified animal refused to let go, its claws digging deeper into the banner. The situation grew tense. People began shouting suggestions, some helpful, some less so. Someone even jokingly suggested knocking the cat off with a stick, prompting a sharp rebuke from Petya. The cat, sensing the commotion, began to screech more loudly, trembling violently. Then the banner itself began to shake. Men in the upper tier started banging on the banner with their fists, trying to dislodge the cat. The crowd roared its approval, urging them on. Finally, the combined force of the banging and the cat's struggles caused it to lose its grip. It plummeted downwards, landing squarely on Petya. The impact was sharp and painful. The cat's claws dug into Petya's skin, but he managed to maintain his grip, holding the terrified animal aloft. The crowd erupted in cheers, a wave of relief washing over the stadium. The cat, however, was still terrified, trembling in Petya's arms. The surrounding women, their maternal instincts kicking in, fussed over the animal, expressing their concern. The men, their attention already drifting back to the game, quietly resumed their seats. Petya, stuck holding the cat, found himself at the center of attention. The women debated what to do with the animal, wondering if it belonged to someone in the stadium or if it was a stray. They decided to wait until the end of the game, hoping someone would claim it. Meanwhile, Petya tried to soothe the cat, stroking its fur gently. His younger brother offered it a cracker, which the cat devoured ravenously. It was clear the animal was hungry, likely a stray that had wandered into the stadium by accident. The cat, now satiated, curled up in Petya's lap and fell asleep. Halftime arrived, and a crowd gathered around Petya, taking pictures of the sleeping cat. He felt a flicker of hope that someone might offer to adopt it. A group from the upper tier approached, offering to take the cat down. They stroked its head, expressing their admiration. One man, however, expressed skepticism, recounting his own experience with a similar cat. Feeling a surge of protectiveness towards the creature, Petya argued that it deserved a chance. His words resonated with his mother, who unexpectedly declared that they would take the cat home. The announcement stunned Petya's siblings. They had always wanted a pet, but their parents had always refused. Now their mother was proposing to adopt a stray cat. It was unprecedented. Petya, surprised but pleased, navigated the mixed reactions of his siblings. They were happy about the cat, but also resentful that it was Petya who had brought it home. His mother, sensing the tension, declared that if the cat found a home before the end of the game, then it was meant to be. If not, then it would stay with them. The second half began, and the crowd thinned. Petya, left alone with the sleeping cat, silently hoped someone would come forward, but no one did. After the game, Petya's mother took the cat, and the family went home. Petya, needing time to process everything, spent some time with his wife before returning late in the evening. He found his apartment transformed. His family was gathered around the cat, showering it with attention and affection. His siblings' resentment had vanished, replaced by genuine warmth toward the creature. Petya felt relief, a sense of rightness. The cat, named Zhivchik, meaning lively in Russian, quickly settled into its new home. It was energetic, playful, and surprisingly vocal. It was a whirlwind of fur and mischief, bringing a new dynamic to the family. 6 months later, when Petya's team returned to the stadium, his father approached him with a smile. "You're not planning on going to the game, are you?" he asked. "I was thinking it might be more comfortable to watch on TV. After all," he added, "we already have our hands full with one cat." The arrival of Zhivchik had irrevocably altered the dynamics of Petya's family. What began as a chaotic, unplanned rescue blossomed into a heartwarming adoption, bringing unexpected joy and connection into their lives. The initial chaos of the stadium, the tension of the rescue, the uncertainty of the aftermath, all faded into distant memory, replaced by the daily rhythm of life with a feline companion. Zhivchik, true to his name, was a constant source of energy. He transformed their quiet apartment into a playground, chasing dust bunnies, scaling curtains like a seasoned climber, and engaging in elaborate mock hunts with imaginary prey. His presence was a constant reminder of the day he fell from the sky, a living testament to resilience and the unexpected turns of fate. The cat's personality, initially reserved and cautious, blossomed with each passing day. He went from a trembling, frightened creature to a confident, demanding family member. He developed a repertoire of meows, each with its distinct meaning. A short, sharp meow for food, a long, drawn-out meow for attention, a soft purr for contentment. He became a master of manipulation, knowing how to rub against their legs, gaze up with big green eyes, and elicit a scratch behind the ears. Petya's siblings, initially hesitant and slightly resentful, became completely enamored with Zhivchik. His sister, who had waved her hands in disapproval at the mere mention of a cat, now spent hours grooming him, braiding tiny ribbons into his fur, and taking countless photos of him in various poses. His younger brother, once quiet and reserved, found a playful companion in Zhivchik, engaging in mock battles, teaching tricks, and sharing snacks, much to their mother's dismay. Even their father, the most resistant to the idea of a pet, found himself charmed by Zhivchik's antics. He would often be found sitting in his armchair, a newspaper in his lap. Zhivchik curled up asleep on his chest, a low rumble of purrs emanating from his small body. Their mother, the catalyst for the adoption, found a new sense of purpose in caring for Zhivchik. She meticulously researched cat nutrition, ensuring he had the best food and treats. She bought him a variety of toys, from feather wands to scratching posts, and spent hours playing with him, her laughter echoing through the apartment. Petya felt a deep connection to Zhivchik. He was the one who had rescued him, held him as the crowd cheered. He felt a responsibility for the cat's well-being, a bond forged in chaos and uncertainty. The memory of the football match, once a source of minor frustration, became intertwined with the story of Zhivchik's rescue. It was a story they would recount countless times, each telling adding new details, turning it into a family legend. The stadium, once a symbol of a missed opportunity, became a place of unexpected connection, a reminder that even in a large crowd, during a highly anticipated event, something extraordinary could happen. 6 months passed quickly, filled with the constant presence of Zhivchik. The initial novelty wore off, replaced by a deep sense of belonging. Zhivchik was no longer just a cat. He was a member of the family, a source of joy, laughter, and occasional mischief. When Petya's team was scheduled to return for an away game, a strange feeling washed over him. He felt no desire to attend. The excitement he had once felt for football had been replaced by something more profound. His father's suggestion to watch the game on TV resonated with him. He realized that the shared experience he had initially sought at the stadium had already been achieved, not on the field, but in the chaotic, unplanned rescue of a small, black cat. He agreed with his father, and on game day, the family gathered around the television. Zhivchik curled up on the sofa between Petya and his mother. They watched the game together, but their attention often turned to Zhivchik, who occasionally swatted at the screen, chasing the moving figures of the players. As the game played out, Petya reflected on the past 6 months. He realized that Zhivchik's arrival had changed their family dynamic and himself. He learned the importance of adaptability, the power of unexpected connections, and the joy of caring for another living being. He looked at Zhivchik, curled up asleep, his small body rising and falling with each breath. He smiled, a deep sense of contentment filling him. He knew that even though he wasn't at the stadium, he was exactly where he was meant to be.